Welcome to the Markets and Leaders podcast. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk, coming to you from beautiful Cape Town, a city full of energy, full of sun and opportunity. And today I'm sitting down with someone who actually lives here and knows the market and sees things most investors miss. Attila Kadikoy from Levantine Co Investment Partners is here with me. And we are going to talk global asset management, the opportunities Africa is offering right now, and the biggest question everyone is asking: can AI actually do your job better than you can? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thanks for, bringing us here to Cape Town and this beautiful backdrop. And I think I'm going to live here now.
That's kind of how I ended up here.
Okay, well, off the bat, welcome to the show. Cape Town is your home. So tell me, what is it about here that makes this city so exciting for investors?
It's actually a great question. One, I mean, look at that. So it's a fantastic location. Lifestyle-wise, I've yet to find somewhere as good as Cape Town.
Right.
But when it comes to financial markets and investment, etc., South Africa's got a pretty unique situation.
Okay.
Because due to its history, it's a highly regulated and highly professional financial services sector. Mm-hmm. The FSCA, which is very similar to the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, is basically a mirror. So globally, it's recognized. The stock exchange, the financial intermediaries, the banks, they are at, I'd say, definitely at first world level.
Right.
Some of them, most people might not know. They might go to London and they're actually transacting with a South African financial institution, or one that has a history in South Africa. And also, like us, there is a large number of asset managers, wealth managers that manage funds globally, internationally, that are just based here. And there's roughly, I believe, above $1 trillion that's managed out of South Africa.
Wow. And you put such a good point on there. I mean, this is such a hub for opportunity. But let's start with the bigger picture first, okay? The world of asset management is changing, and it's changing fast. From your point of view, what has shifted the most over the past few years?
I'd say one is regulation.
How so?
So the regulatory bodies, especially after, I say 2008, the big crisis, slowly, regulation increase. Mm-hmm. And then what that caused is M&A activity and consolidation into larger companies.
Right. And
also the growth of smaller, medium specialized companies like ourselves.
Right.
Where the business model and the way we generate income is different. Mm-hmm. Basically, you came from a sector that was very driven by upfront fees, not very transparent, and regulation changed that. Right. Also, definitely, I would say that there's a shift in how portfolios are constructed, and also the changing tax environment has really had a major impact on asset and wealth management.
Right. That makes sense. Across the board, what we're hearing is watch out this year for a lot more M&As coming. So
true.
We're going to see how that goes. Investors are seeing so many headlines in new technologies, and we're going to talk about AI here. How are they actually reacting to these changes? Do you think that they are embracing the opportunities, or do you think that there is a lot of hesitation right now, or still?
From an investment perspective, absolutely. If you look at the drivers of the S&P in 2025, mm-hmm. it's very much led by the AI boom, let's call it.
Okay.
And deliberately not using the word bubble.
Oh, absolutely not.
And AI is here to stay. AI is extremely important technology. Mm-hmm. But while embracing it, you can't, this is the big thing, you can't embrace it with a blind eye.
Okay.
Because there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers. High adoption, you see a high adoption, but which companies are going to make money? And when you look at how the market reacts, for example, DeepSeek.
Okay.
Do you remember last year, DeepSeek
Yes.
came out of China and the chip companies sold off? All those actions are, I believe, not misled, but based on limited information at
Fair
the
enough.
moment. Because we don't know where the companies are going to be which companies are making revenues, how much revenue they're going to make.
Right.
The hardware is, for now, quite secure in the short run still. Interesting fact that people aren't watching is due to all the data centers, etc., the energy sector is something to watch.
So true. This is what we're hearing too. Yeah.
So China has, let's say, got sufficient energy, but do other countries have sufficient backup energy? Because as you might know, bringing energy online takes years and years.
Yes.
So there are other parts of the AI technology story that people might not be
So true.
seeing.
So when you look ahead, what trends are going to define asset management in the next few years? Are there moves also to that then? Are there moves being made now that are going to shape the industry in a very lasting way?
Well, I mean, obviously there's AI adoption. And again, at the moment, it's more of a tool.
Okay.
It's not a replacement for anything.
Yes.
It's an additional tool in your toolbox. So you'll see very simple stuff like having AI built into your website,
Okay.
where people can query, talk through AI.
Well, I mean, Google, let's talk about that.
I mean, Google's actually a great company because last year people thought, oh, Google's lost its place in the market as a search engine, but it adopted AI extremely well.
So well.
And what you saw is a best transition, I believe, into AI
Right.
because of how you see your search results, what's coming out. You're not clicking on page after page. You're going into the summaries,
Yes.
which also has impacted how people do search engine optimization, which is interesting.
Okay. Unpack that a little bit more.
So before AI, if you're a company that wants to be on the page one for financial services, for example, you're in Vancouver and you're saying, I want to meet an asset manager in Vancouver.
Yes. South Africa. Let's keep it here.
Keep it here. Okay. In Cape Town, I want a wealth manager. What you want build in is information about your company, wording
Right.
that would then hopefully slowly lead you to be on page one. Search engine optimization. Now it's more AI driven. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert in this space, but it's to get into those paragraphs you read.
That's true. You need
the
to get
beginning.
into that summary.
So that's what people are reading now. They're not going through the pages.
That's so true. Well, let's bring it closer to home. Africa's on everyone's radar right now. So why should investors be paying attention to the markets here? What makes this time so right now?
It's an extremely good question, and I'll first, let me think about it, put it into two different aspects. One, Africa is a very rich in resources.
Okay.
And we're seeing in the cycle strong resource prices, gold, silver, many resources doing extremely well. And therefore that has a positive impact in the mining sector, etc. in Africa.
Right.
And then therefore you're seeing FDI come into Africa related to mining. And also with that, the infrastructure that comes with that. Because if you're going to dig the ground for something, you will need to get it to a port and to the market.
That's true.
Refine it, get it to the market. Of course, until now, the Chinese have been a very big leader in this. And you'll see a lot of Chinese infrastructure in Africa. The second is globally, when we look at investments and the investment cycle we've been seeing over the last, I won't say 15 years, 10 years.
Right.
First has been in developed markets.
Yeah.
And especially the performance of the S&P over the last few years, post-COVID, has been very strong. But now in these markets, you're seeing company valuations getting very stretched. And AI is like a very good example. So again, these companies might do extremely well, but let's think of Tesla. And you're like, 5 years ago, everyone's going to be driving. It's a fantastic car. The same with AI. It's an incredible car. But everyone's not going to drive a Tesla.
Nope.
BYD came, and now in many markets, BYD is overtaking Tesla. So when you look at AI, you have to start going, okay, great company, but does it deserve its valuation?
Right.
So no one is negative on AI. No one is negative, I would say, on US markets at the moment. There are certain question marks at a macro level. But when you look at valuation and you're looking at alternatives, emerging markets are now in the spotlight.
Okay.
And with that, certain African countries, especially ones where the macroeconomic picture is strong, South Africa, for example, and you look at the strength of the rand over the last year against the US dollar, for example, and people are starting to go, emerging market debt first, which was last year, I'd say people started looking to local currency emerging market debt, and now equities.
That's such a great insight that you have there. Now, as you know, with opportunity comes risk. What do investors need to watch for when looking at Africa? I mean, how do you weigh that risk over the potential? You have to always remember you're investing in an emerging market. Okay.
And if it wasn't an emerging market right now, and I like the word emerging because they are emerging. It's a positive connotation. True. And emerging is a bumpy road. And these markets, these countries are evolving, and it's not a linear progression.
Okay.
So what investors I think love to do is, I'm going to come back because it's in double week to resources, because it also fits into Africa, is think of all the small companies that are here right now trying to raise capital. 3 years ago, when resource prices were depressed or lower, they had difficulty selling their story. People be looking for reasons not to invest.
Okay.
But now, it's the opposite. This must be a fantastic company. And it is a pattern in investment where once a trend goes, people start kind of building into the story. AI is the same. And what I believe is when you invest in a country or countries that are in emerging markets, listed companies, there needs to be a cap on where you're willing to pay for them. Okay. What we say like multiples, price to earnings multiples. And I've been in that emerging markets for 27 years or something now.
So just a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years. And I've seen how the cycles happen, etc. And you have to look at historic valuations and say there's a point where, okay, we don't buy anymore. Right. In the long term, let's follow the macro picture. Is that growth going to continue? Is it still positive developments? But you can't continue to pump money in, let's say.
Fair enough, yeah.
FDI, unlisted investments is something different. Because when you're investing in infrastructure, when you're investing like through private equity, for example, the stories are longer and there's more control in the investment.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think on a 20-year horizon, I'm a true believer in Africa. Again, maybe because my background's in emerging markets.
Yep.
I don't agree with people who come to developing nations and see the empty half of a glass.
Yep.
They'll see a township in South Africa. These are opportunities.
Yeah.
These are opportunities for growth. These are opportunities for investment. These are big opportunities to lifting up populations of people who have very little downside, let's say. Therefore, I believe in countries like South Africa and opportunities in Africa. It's a huge continent, not every single country, of course, not every single region, but countries where there's a good foundation of legal background, good opportunities, etc. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to circle back here a little bit and bring it back not to asset management, but to wealth management. What kind of impact are you seeing with AI in that area?
Something I think, so we work with high net worth individuals.
Right.
And what we do is we help high net worth individuals protect and grow their multi-generational wealth.
Okay, yeah.
And in the old days, the system allowed it, and people could basically hide their wealth.
Okay.
And meaning you had the good old Swiss banking system, the numbered accounts,
Yep.
etc. And over the last 20, 25 years, you've seen a significant evolution of transparency, regulation, something called common reporting standards, where countries share information between tax bodies.
Okay.
Now, that's an incredible amount of data.
Right.
No human is going to sift through every transaction. But AI has come into the scene.
Da-da-da.
And therefore, being over the board, transparent, working correctly is incredibly... People still don't believe this.
Yeah.
But what AI is doing is tax authorities are using AI to shift and look through patterns, payment patterns, whose declaration of income is below their spending.
Right.
And that, I think, in our sector is where we're seeing the biggest change. And I would say to people, definitely look at being tax efficient.
Okay.
And not tax avoidance. Act in the correct manner to protect your wealth. Because more and more, it's actually governments that are going to use AI.
Wow. That's a big move right there. Okay, so we're going to switch over to something fun.
Oh dear.
So here on Markets and Leaders, we always play a game because finance can be very dry sometimes, and we need to have a little fun and have a little laugh. So this is a new game. It's called Investor or Disaster. Here's how it works. I'm going to throw you something completely ridiculous, business idea. You have 30 seconds to pitch each one like it's the next big investment. Okay, so then I will give a playful verdict, whether it's an investor or it's a disaster.
Oh dear. Okay.
Okay, are you ready? Now, we want humor, we want wit, we want off the cuff, go rogue. Okay, first thing that comes to your head. Not too rogue, but rogue, you know what I mean. Okay, first one. A startup that trains penguins to give financial advice on the beach. 30 seconds, go.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Okay, go.
We're in Cape Town.
Okay.
So, one of the biggest things about providing financial advice is getting to the end client.
Right.
Where do we find those individuals? How do we get to those individuals? We can't knock on doors. Everyone who comes to Cape Town sees the penguin.
This is true, actually. Highlight.
So if we can teach those penguins to go, "Hi, Lyndsay, would you like to learn more about Levantine Co financial services? Please give us your contact address and one of our,
Total sold investor. I'll take all my money right now, as long as you give me a penguin.
There you go.
Second one, solar-powered surfboards and also mine Bitcoin while you ride.
Let's start with the first one.
Oh.
It's a fantastic idea, by
It
the way.
really is.
So you
Just so you
got
know,
the...
these are all my ideas. I'm actually going to do all of these ideas.
Well, you should.
Okay, good.
Because look at this.
Okay.
Cape Town is one of the surfing, windsurfing, kite surfing meccas of the world, literally. If you fly in, you'll see tons of people bringing their equipment over. Now, the thing is, wind isn't consistent.
Oh, it's not? I thought it was completely consistent.
No, you're out there windsurfing along, and you're in Cape Town. There's sharks, there's seals. You don't know what the hell you're going to meet in the sea.
Touché.
Suddenly, the wind drops.
Okay.
How are you going to get home?
Bitcoin mining.
No. Your solar windsurf.
Solar windsurf. Okay.
While when you don't need to use it, it will, with AI, automatically mine Bitcoin for you.
Okay, I can see it.
So you 80% of the time you're windsurfing, your solar is working for those mining that Bitcoin.
Okay.
Don't know how that works personally, but this says mining the Bitcoin. But when the wind drops, the solar takes you home.
I'm not totally sold, so I'll give you 10%.
Sugar.
Yeah, so not quite an investor, but not a disaster. Okay, next one. an app that predicts which coffee shop in Cape Town will have the shortest line every morning.
Do I have to sell you that? That's like a great idea.
I know. Nobody take this. It's my idea.
I don't think I have to pitch that. I would flipping buy that.
Well,
Cape Town's got the best. When we're spoiled for food and drink in Cape Town. Seriously.
We really are.
So when I go overseas, I'm like, God, I could do with a Cape Town coffee.
With a penguin.
With a penguin, yes. And
sold, investor.
And waiting for that cappuccino or whatever is terrible.
Yeah,
So,
I think as long as you have a super catchy name, I'm an investor.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
I know. Okay, last one. A luxury safari where the animals invest your money for you. Taking your job.
I was going to make a really bad comment, but because this is live TV, I was going to say that's probably better than most asset managers. But
you heard it here first, people.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
that's a difficult one. Depends on the animal.
Okay, so I don't know. Choose one. What do you have here? You have them all.
Well, you've run into baboons.
No, they are not investing my money.
Let's go back to the penguins, I think.
I'm in, investor.
Yeah, anyone will do anything with penguins. It's, they're so cute.
Yes, what's funny is when we saw the penguins, I sent a picture to my sister. And my sister goes, "Why are they so still?" And I said, "Well, what did you expect? Happy feet?" And she's like, "Absolutely, I did." I think we caught them on a Sunday. That was probably why. Okay, that was it. You handled those pitches like a pro.
My favorite is still the penguin from the beginning. That's a fantastic idea.
I think I may have just invented so many new ideas. So before we wrap, I want to ask one final question. Thinking about everything we've discussed today, what is the one piece of advice you would give to investors who are trying to navigate both global markets and opportunities specific here in Africa?
Highly diversified portfolios.
Right, yeah.
So don't bet on one horse.
Right.
Focusing on what you want to achieve with your portfolio. Mm-hmm. Long-term gains, retirement, portfolio management from the individual. It's about the long-term picture. It's not like short-term gains.
Yeah.
I say to a lot of people, you want to double your money? Save twice as much. That's the most sure way of doubling your money.
Say that again.
If you want to,
where's your camera?
If you want to double your money, save twice as much. That's the most sure way of having more money in the future.
And use my app to find out the coffee shop with the shortest line. It's going to save money.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. That was great.
So fun. Absolutely. Now, here comes the fine print. Remember, these are the opinions of our own with vested interest in any or all of the companies we may have spoken about. Always speak with a licensed financial advisor and know your own risk tolerances. This is not to be used as financial advice. For a full disclaimer, visit over at appeton.com. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk, your host of Markets and Leaders, the show that turns markets into a conversation you actually want to be a part of because there's penguins involved. We'll see you next time.